There comes a moment in life when you realize that the only thing standing between you and your dreams is not the world, but your own hesitation. Language is not just words. It is power. It is confidence. It is the bridge between who you are and who you want to become. Many people believe that learning English is difficult. They think it requires years of study, perfect grammar, and flawless pronunciation. But the truth is much simpler. You do not need to know everything. You only need to start with the right things. And those right things are the most common words that shape everyday conversations. Imagine this for a second. With just 1,000 words, you can understand most daily conversations. You can express your thoughts, your emotions, your ideas. You can connect with people, share your story, and make your voice heard. Just 1,000 words, not 10,000, not perfection, just the essentials. I'll expand keynote no one, start small. Think big into a 700-word passage in the same powerful style. There is something incredibly powerful about starting small, yet most people underestimate it. They wait for the perfect moment, the perfect plan, the perfect level of readiness before they take their first step. But the truth is, greatness is never built in giant leaps. It is always built in small, consistent, almost invisible steps that no one celebrates in the beginning. When it comes to learning English, many people feel overwhelmed. They look at the language as a mountain too high to climb. Thousands of words, complex grammar, different accents, unfamiliar expressions. And in that moment of overwhelm, they choose not to start at all. They convince themselves that it is too difficult, too late, or simply not meant for them. But what if the journey was never about conquering the entire mountain at once? What if it was simply about taking one small step every single day? The idea of mastering 1,000 most common English words is not just a strategy. It is a mindset shift. It is about focusing on what truly matters instead of getting lost in unnecessary complexity. These words are not random. They are the foundation of everyday communication. They are the words people use in conversations, in daily life, in real situations. And when you begin to understand and use them, something changes within you. You start to realize that communication is not about knowing everything. It is about knowing enough to express yourself. It is about having the courage to use what you know instead of being ashamed of what you don't. Because fluency does not come from perfection. It comes from participation. Starting small does not mean thinking small. It means building something meaningful, step by step, with patience and belief. Every word you learn is not just a word. It is a tool. It is a key that unlocks another door of understanding. And with every new word, your confidence grows quietly, steadily. Without you even noticing it at first, there is a certain beauty in simplicity. When you focus on the most common words, you are focusing on the heart of the language. You are learning how people truly speak, not how textbooks expect you to perform. And this makes your learning more natural, more practical, more alive. Many people make the mistake of trying to learn everything at once. They fill their minds with advanced vocabulary, complicated rules, and unrealistic expectations. And when they cannot keep up, they feel like failures. But the problem was never their ability. The problem was their approach. When you start small, you give yourself permission to grow at your own pace. You remove the pressure of being perfect and replace it with the freedom to improve. You allow yourself to make mistakes, to repeat words, to forget and learn again. And in that process, you become stronger. Think of it like building a house. You do not start with the roof. You start with the foundation. Without a strong foundation, everything else will collapse. The 1,000 most common words are that foundation. They support everything you will learn later. They make advanced learning easier, faster, and more effective. But starting small requires patience. It requires discipline. It requires you to trust the process even when you cannot see immediate results. Because progress is not always visible. Sometimes it is happening quietly within you, preparing you for a breakthrough that will come when you least expect it. Every time you learn a new word, you are investing in yourself. You are telling yourself that you are capable, that you are growing, that you are moving forward. And those small investments add up, day by day, word by word, until one day you realize that you are no longer struggling the way you used to. The journey of 1,000 miles always begins with a single step. And in this journey, that step is a word, just one word, then another, and another, until those words become sentences. And those sentences become conversations, and those conversations become confidence. You do not need to rush. You do not need to compare yourself with others. You only need to keep moving, even if the steps are small, even if the progress feels slow, even if the path feels uncertain. Here is keynote no. Tusa consistency is powered, expanded into all 700 words in the same style. There is a quiet force that most people ignore, yet it has the power to transform ordinary efforts into extraordinary results. That force is consistency. It is not loud, it does not demand attention, it does not give you instant rewards, but over time, it builds something so strong that nothing can shake it. People often look for shortcuts. They search for fast methods, quick results, and easy ways to achieve fluency. They want to wake up one day and suddenly speak with confidence, as if transformation happens overnight. But real growth does not work that way. Real growth is slow, steady, and sometimes invisible. It is built through daily effort, repeated again and again, even when motivation fades. When you decide to learn English, the biggest challenge is not difficulty. It is discipline. It is showing up every single day, even when you don't feel like it. It is choosing practice over excuses. Because motivation is temporary, but consistency creates lasting change. You may feel excited in the beginning. You may learn many words in a single day, practice for hours. But after a few days, that excitement begins to fade. Life gets busy, energy drops. Distractions take over, and slowly, the habit disappears. This is where most people stop, not because they cannot learn, but because they cannot continue. Consistency is what separates those who dream from those who achieve. It is the decision to keep going, especially when it feels boring, repetitive, or difficult. Because learning a language is not about doing something extraordinary once. It is about doing something simple every day. 5 words a day may not seem like much. It may feel too small to make a difference. But consistency turns small actions into powerful results. 5 words a day become 30, 5 words a week. They become hundreds of words in a few months. And those words begin to form sentences, ideas, and conversations. The power of consistency lies in its simplicity. You do not need perfect conditions. You do not need hours of free time. You only need a few minutes and the willingness to use them wisely. Even on your worst days, you can still learn one word, speak one sentence, or revise what you already know. And that is enough to keep moving forward. There will be days when you feel tired, days when nothing makes sense, days when you forget words you learned yesterday. And in those moments, it is easy to believe that you are not making progress. But progress is not always visible. Sometimes it is happening beneath the surface, strengthening your understanding, preparing you for improvement. Consistency is not about being perfect every day. It is about not giving up on the days when you are not perfect. It is about accepting that some days will be better than others, but all days matter. Because every small effort counts. Imagine two people. One studies for 5 hours in a single day and then stops for weeks. The other studies for 15 minutes every day without fail. Over time, the second person will grow stronger, faster, and more confident. Not because they did more at once, but because they never stopped. Habits are built through repetition. The more you practice, the more natural it becomes. Words become familiar. Sentences become easier. Speaking becomes less frightening. And before you realize it, what once felt impossible starts to feel normal. Consistency also builds trust in yourself. It proves that you can commit, that you can continue, that you can finish what you started. And that belief changes everything. Because once you believe in your ability to grow, nothing can hold you back. Do not wait for the perfect moment to practice. Do not wait to feel ready. Start where you are, with what you have, and do what you can. Even the smallest effort, repeated daily, can create a powerful transformation. Because in the end, it is not the intensity of your effort that defines your success. It is the consistency of it. Here is keynote no. 3 Confidence over perfection expanded into 700 words in the same powerful style. There is a silent barrier that stops more people than difficulty ever could, and that barrier is the need to be perfect. It hides behind hesitation. It lives in self-doubt, and it convinces you that unless everything is flawless, you should not even try. When it comes to speaking English, this fear becomes even stronger. You worry about grammar, pronunciation, vocabulary, and how others will perceive you. You wait for the day when you will feel ready, when every sentence will come out perfectly, when there will be no mistakes. But that day never comes. Perfection is an illusion. It is a moving target that keeps shifting further away the more you chase it. And while you are busy trying to reach it, you lose something far more valuable, your confidence. Because every time you choose silence over speaking, you are telling yourself that your voice is not good enough. Confidence is not built when everything is perfect. Confidence is built when you speak despite imperfection. It grows in those moments when your words are not smooth, when your sentences are incomplete, when your pronunciation is not accurate, yet you still choose to express yourself. That is where real progress begins. Language is not about perfection. It is about connection. It is about sharing ideas, emotions, and thoughts. Even native speakers make mistakes. They pause, they correct themselves, they forget words. But they continue speaking because their goal is communication, not perfection. When you shift your focus from being perfect to being confident, everything changes. You stop overthinking every word. You stop fearing judgment. You start focusing on expressing yourself, even if it is not flawless. And in that process, you become more natural, more comfortable, more fluent. Mistakes are not signs of failure. They are signs of growth. Every mistake you make teaches you something new. It shows you where you need to improve, where you need to practice, where you need to pay attention. Without mistakes, there is no learning. Without learning, there is no progress. But fear makes mistakes feel bigger than they really are. It makes you believe that one wrong sentence will define you, that people will laugh, that you will be judged. The truth is, most people are too focused on themselves to judge you. And even if they do, their opinion does not define your ability. What truly matters is how you see yourself. If you believe that you are capable, you will keep trying. If you believe that mistakes are part of the journey, you will not be afraid to make them. And with every attempt, your confidence will grow stronger. Think about a child learning to speak. They do not wait to be perfect. They do not worry about grammar or pronunciation. They simply try. They repeat words. They make mistakes. They learn through experience. And over time, they become fluent. Not because they were perfect, but because they were fearless. You have that same ability within you. The only difference is that now, fear holds you back. But fear is not permanent. It fades every time you face it. The more you speak, the less power it has over you. Confidence is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes. The more you avoid speaking, the weaker it gets. So you must choose. You must decide whether you want to stay silent in search of perfection or speak boldly in pursuit of growth. There will be moments when your voice shakes, when your words do not come out right, when you feel uncomfortable. But those moments are necessary. They are shaping you into someone stronger, someone braver, someone who is not afraid to be heard. Do not let the fear of being wrong stop you from being real. Do not let the desire for perfection silence your voice. Because your voice matters, even when it is not perfect. Speak with courage. Speak with honesty. Speak with confidence, even if your sentences are broken, even if your words are simple, even if your pronunciation is not clear. Because fluency does not come from perfection. It comes from the courage to speak again and again. Here is keynote no. Forza transform fear into strength, expand it into 700 words in the same powerful style. Fear is one of the most powerful emotions you will ever feel. It has the ability to stop you before you even begin. It whispers doubts into your mind, telling you that you are not ready, not capable, not good enough. And when it comes to learning English, fear becomes even louder. It tells you to stay silent, to avoid speaking, to hide behind what you already know instead of stepping into the unknown. But what if fear is not your enemy? What if it is actually a signal that you are about to grow? Every time you feel afraid to speak, it means you are stepping out of your comfort zone. It means you are challenging yourself. It means you are doing something that has the potential to change you. Fear is not there to stop you. It is there to test you, to see if you are willing to move forward despite the discomfort. Most people try to run away from fear. They avoid situations where they might feel embarrassed. They choose silence over expression. They wait until they feel confident before they speak. But confidence does not come before action. It comes after it. And if you keep waiting, you will stay exactly where you are. Transformation begins the moment you face your fear, not when it disappears, but when you decide that it will not control you anymore. The first time you speak in English, your voice may shake. Your words may not come out clearly. You may feel nervous, uncomfortable, even exposed. But that moment is powerful because it is the moment you choose courage over fear. Fear loses its strength every time you face it. The more you speak, the less intimidating it becomes. The situations that once made you anxious start to feel normal. The words that once felt difficult start to flow more easily. And slowly, without even realizing it, the fear that once controlled you becomes a source of strength. There is a hidden opportunity inside every fear. It forces you to grow, to adapt, to become stronger than you were before. If you never felt fear, you would never push yourself beyond your limits. You would stay in the same place, comfortable but unchanged. When you feel afraid to speak, remind yourself that this is where growth happens. This is where you are building something powerful within yourself. Do not avoid that feeling. Embrace it. Use it as fuel to move forward. Your fear does not define you. Your response to it does. You can choose to let it stop you, or you can choose to rise above it. And every time you choose courage, you are rewriting your story. There will be moments when you want to give up. Moments when fear feels too strong, when your confidence feels too small. But those are the moments that matter the most. Because overcoming fear is not about never feeling it. It is about continuing despite it. Strength is not something you are born with. It is something you build. It is built through challenges, through discomfort, through facing the things that scare you the most. And every time you choose to speak, even when you are afraid, you are becoming stronger. Do not wait for fear to disappear. It may never fully go away, but you do not need it to disappear. You only need to become stronger than it. Your journey is not about avoiding fear. It is about transforming it, turning it into confidence, into courage, into power. And that transformation happens one step at a time, one word at a time, one sentence at a time. You are capable of more than you think. The fear you feel today can become the strength you rely on tomorrow if you are willing to face it, to challenge it, to rise above it. And in that process, you will not only learn a language, you will discover a version of yourself that is fearless, resilient, and unstoppable.